Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham, aka Scott's Business. Today we're going to be talking about blockchain social platforms that are set to dominate for 2020. Now this is based on what is currently in existence, and this will be fairly similar to the altcoins that I talked about, but more so focused on the platforms, as well as a few different ones that I didn't mention before because they don't even have their own coin, like PublishX. And then we're also going to briefly touch on some platforms that might do well, but I don't know exactly because it depends on how the migrations go. So DLive and Steemit being acquired by Tron could be phenomenal because they already were doing very, very well, but I don't know exactly how the migration is going to go. So it's not easy for me to predict for 2020 how well they will do, but it's definitely worth mentioning because it should be on your radar. They were both top performing applications in their niches. So Tron taking that over, as well as combining that with the audience that they have from BitTorrent, I think it could be a potential huge powerhouse. So I'm not going to dive any more into that because we don't really know, but just keep that in mind. The rest we're going to dive into and go through each of them. And those are LBRY, PublishX, Uptrend, Flote, and also sort of in line with what I just mentioned, DTube could potentially still do really, really well. It depends how the Steem blockchain functions without Steemit, because you've also got to consider that Steemit held the majority of Steem in its staked into its platform, or they actually had it themselves, and then that's what gave them so much influence. And regardless, that is all owned by Tron now. So that's something that you got to consider as well. DTube does have its own chain, and it's kind of working with Steem and its own chain. So for all we know, it might just go to its own chain. It might keep its chain and work with Tron. It might do all three. It might just do Tron. Who knows? But DTube as a platform has been doing amazing. It is definitely worth taking a look at and using if you're not already using, because the Steem blockchain has been extremely successful and has done very, very well. And even though Steem has been sold, I still think that DTube is worth still, checking out, using. I think they will continue doing what they're doing in some shape or form. I just don't know exactly what that will look like. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time with DTube because, again, this is kind of speculative, as I don't know how well it's going to survive after the change and what their plans are for the future. We don't know yet. But regardless, I have been using DTube for over 2 years. They did a rebrand like 6 months back or something like that. It's been really, really great. They've been doing very, very well, and a lot of people have been using DTube within the Steem ecosystem. So, and it feels a lot like YouTube, but you're just earning Steem and DTC, which is still in testnet, I believe, but I'm not exactly sure. Regardless, I highly recommend checking it out. If you want a good decentralized video hosting application, check out DTube. Also, you could check out 3Speak, which also exists on Steem. It's newer. It doesn't have its own blockchain. For all I know, it could also go to Tron. But I feel like DTube's a little safer with its own chain, because if something ends up happening, for all I know, they might just use their own chain. But again, it's all speculative. I have no idea what DTube is going to actually end up doing, but just keep that in mind. So now let's take a look at PublishX. This is one of the most interesting platforms. It's very, very similar to Medium, but it rewards you with cryptocurrencies that change fairly frequently, because it's based on, essentially what happens is sponsors will give a certain amount of cryptocurrency that will then be given out to people based on the likes that they get on their posts. So Unlike platforms like Steem, where you have to stake and then use your stake to have influence on upvoting other people, and you've got a token for the platform itself, PublishX has no token of its own. It's crypto agnostic, meaning that it also isn't affected negatively by the token doing bad. So when Steem lost the majority of its value after the crash of 2017, half of the users left. So that won't be an issue on PublishX because they just keep getting new sponsors, and the sponsors fund the tips. So if you want to look at how much I've actually earned, you can see I've earned almost $400 worth in total. And that's just of current value. So that's not considering, you know, we're in a more bearish, starting to switch to a more bullish market. But in a more bullish market, the value of these is just going to skyrocket. And I've saved most of this, so I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time. But these are the 4 coins so far that have been on the platform and sponsoring. Hydro and Bounty are pretty great, but they're not as nearly as well known, obviously, as DAI and BAT, more specifically BAT. You can also earn a lot more in BAT because they're giving out just ridiculously more than any of the other ones are. But as you can see, for each of my posts, I'm earning a decent amount for each. And it's because there are no whales and there's no tip bots. And really, at the end of the day, if you're doing fairly well on the platform, you'll notice that it's very consistent. So one of the biggest issues that I heard from Steemit in the past was that it's very challenging to get started and it's not at all consistent because you're relying on whales and stuff like that. With PublishX, it is extremely consistent and it's been growing really, really well. I've almost got 1,300 followers now, so my follower count has just been skyrocketing, and this platform has really just been taking off, and I highly, highly recommend checking out PublishX. While it doesn't use the blockchain for the content, and it's a little different in that sense where it's really just rewarding you with crypto, so it's more of a crypto monetized social platform, it's still definitely worth checking out, and it is easily one of my top recommendations. Also, to explain very briefly how I came to all of these recommendations that I'm giving you now, I've been doing a comprehensive review of over 100 platforms that I will release soon, and I will do maybe like an hour-long video for that, going through a lot of them. I just recently put out a video that details why I wouldn't recommend something, to give you a little bit of insight there. But essentially, I just took the top recommendations from that document that I've written out so far, which is more than like 12,500 words long already. I just took the top ones out of there, and that's what we're looking at today. So the next one we're going to take a look at is Flote. Again, unlike DTube, but similar to PublishX, Flote doesn't post any content to the blockchain, but it is very unique in what it offers. So essentially, what Flote offers is they have live streaming that you can donate Bitcoin to for like super chats, and they won't take any of the fees. You also have subscription tiers. I'm making $3 a month worth of Bitcoin. You can see right here my balance. That's in Bitcoin right there. And it's really, really cool. It's kind of like a replacement for Patreon merged with crypto, but then with the benefits of live streaming. You've also got encrypted messaging. There's just a lot of really, really great benefits to using this platform. It's got pretty good engagement considering how new it is. But again, I highly, highly recommend checking out Flote. It feels like a merge between Twitter and Patreon, plus all the other cool stuff that they've added. So again, definitely go and check this out when you get the chance. It might not be posting to the blockchain, but it is a great crypto monetized platform. DTube does actually post to the blockchain, so your videos are actually on the blockchain, just in case I forgot to mention that. So next, we're going to take a look at Uptrend. Uptrend was one that I included in my top altcoins because I believe that the platform is doing so well that the coins themselves are not worth nearly as much as they should be, or they're rather catching up to the value of what Uptrend actually is worth and how well it's been doing. I do really, really well on this platform. I don't have a ton of followers. There isn't a crazy amount of people, but they are growing at a great rate. The coin is going up in value a lot. Again, if you checked out my video on the altcoin, you already know why Uptrend is I'm very bullish on it this year. But I've been doing very well on this platform, and I think it's a really, really cool platform. Definitely go and check it out. This feels more like Steemit than PublishX. Again, PublishX is more like Medium. Flote is more like Twitter. This feels a lot more like Reddit, or again like Steemit, and it operates fairly similarly. So if you're coming from Steemit, it'll feel very similar for you, and there won't be anything new. They don't have staking yet, but staking is coming out. And in terms of development, I've seen Uptrend doing the most, but they don't have a mobile app yet. But when they do have a mobile app, I'm sure that they're just going to explode and everyone is going to be using this, no questions asked. So Uptrend, totally good recommendation. The very last one we have here is LBRY, and you can either go on the website or on the app on your phone or on the actual downloaded application on your computer. This is what it looks like. It's similar to YouTube in the way that it's laid out, but it's got its own special stuff. And one reason that I'm super bullish on this coin and this platform is because they offer so many ways for people to monetize that it just makes sense. So you can see here, I'm an official YouTube creator, and that just means that I've synced all of my YouTube videos, which is also very easy. They will take every single one of your YouTube videos and they will upload it. It'll take a few days or whatever, but it's super convenient. And once you do that, based on the amount of subscribers you have on YouTube, they will actually pay you a monthly payout of LBC. So for me, I think I'm getting like 90 LBC because I'm the minimum tier. I only have 1,000 subs. But if you had all the way up to like 1 million subs, you'd be getting over $1,500 worth US of LBC per year, split between every month. So obviously divide that by 12 and then every month. I don't know what that is. But regardless, that's really, really awesome. And that's outside of all the other ways you can earn via tips, support. Well, support doesn't help you earn, but it helps boost your content. If you get tips, you get the tip. Per every certain amount of video views you earn as well. So there's a lot of ways for you to earn the coin. And it's also just a really great platform. It's decentralized. You're not going to lose your videos or anything like that. They're not going to censor you. There's no issues with that. So highly, highly recommend checking this out. The only couple of gripes I have is that if you're using the website versus the actual application here, unfortunately, you can't upload more than I think like 1 or 2 gigs or something like that. Like there's an upload size limit for the videos. Otherwise, if you're uploading really big videos, you're better to just come on and download the app and then upload. But otherwise, for viewing and everything as a consumer or just like a user, this is a very solid way to use the platform just on their website or their application on your phone. So again, highly, highly recommend this. If you guys do like LBRY, if you are using it, please follow me here, subscribe. Really, really appreciate the support. And if you're not, I will include an invite link so that if you do decide to get this, you can use my invite link, and I would highly appreciate that as well. So that's pretty much everything. Those are the platforms that I feel are going to dominate in 2020. Again, keep in mind that with DTube, Steemit, and DLive, those are all kind of speculative because I don't know exactly how this is all going to play out. With the other ones, I am fully confident in because I've been using them for a long time. They're growing at a really good rate. And out of all the platforms that I use, these are by far the top performing platforms in terms of many different on many different like variables, in terms of decentralization, in terms of crypto monetization, profitability, engagement, community, censorship resistance, privacy focus. all these different things, these are the top platforms. And while I wish more of them used the blockchain like Flote and PublishX, they are still so amazing and phenomenally good that and they are so unique and niche in their own way that they're definitely worth using as well and checking out. And I hope I've given you a decent enough overview of each of these platforms so that if one of them does pique your interest or seems like something that you would be interested in, that you do go and check it out, because you're not going to regret it. And if you could somehow manage it, I would say check them all out, because I use all of these and many, many more. But this is basically what I do all day. So with that being said, if this was helpful, please let me know in the comments below. Give it a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And feel free to share it with someone else who might be interested in looking at different platforms or different blockchain platforms and what might be a good idea for them in 2020. Very soon, I will be releasing the comprehensive review, which will not only give you all the best platforms, but it will also act as a directory or an index of some sort with that has over 100 different platforms listed, a description of them, and the link to the platform themselves for you to go to check out. I've also included a ton of resources in it for other things that you might want to check out, like ENS and unstoppable domains, tons of different services and useful things that you might also find valuable to check out. That'll be coming out fairly soon, maybe in the next month or so. I was hoping to wait on getting the beta for voice, but I'm in Canada, so I don't know how long I'll have to wait for that. Maybe that'll have to be on the next one. We'll see. Anyways, though, if you ended up watching to the very end, make sure to comment in the comments #1ham. That way I know you watched to the very end, and I can respond to your comments much more legitimately, knowing that you watched the whole thing and you actually got all the information. And anyways, I really appreciate you guys watching and staying to the very end and supporting me. You guys are amazing. Have an amazing day and rest of the week. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'm signing off. Cheers.